To be a sportsman in Britain is to be superhuman. Yet to be a gay person is to be less than human. Gay sportsman drops from being Superman to just nothing, dirt.
The stereotypical rugby player, footballer, basketballer, whatever, is a lot of things, but he isn't gay.
And for people to say, well, they need to come out because it's for the greater good, well, who are you to say, because you're not famous.
Is there always somebody who tells a story about who they shagged the night before?
Not always, but it can be a topic quite often, yeah. Especially when you've got a good number of virile young single lads who are enjoying themselves on a weekend. So, yeah, that topic does come up in the dressing room.
How big was that one for Mr. Amici?
When I get called a nigger on the street, nobody says that that's banter.
John Amici, very nice girl.
But when I'm called a faggot, that's banter. I don't think so.
A decade into the 21st century, we're witnessing more and more sportsmen and women publicly coming out. And yet, the world's most popular sport is still outwardly 100% heterosexual. So are we entering an age where sexuality doesn't matter? Are we really getting closer to the smashing of sport's last taboo? 20 years ago, the idea that there were homosexual sportsmen and women was something that could only be whispered. Yet, this very month, 2 decades ago, one top-flight professional footballer was brave enough to say, "I am gay." This street in East London is where he met his tragic end.
Well, this is where Justin Fashanu, the only out gay professional footballer in the world ever, committed suicide in the early hours of May the 3rd, 1998. He'd been out for an evening at a bar across the road and was so troubled that he broke into one of these lockups and took his own life.
Former footballer Justin Fashanu has been found dead in a garage in East London. He was 37. It's understood he died of strangulation. Police in America wanted to question Fashanu about the sexual assault of a 17-year-old boy.
In your experience of dealing with the issue of homosexuality in just football, the case of Justin Fashanu still dominates everybody's thinking. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's quite simple, really. Justin was the only professional footballer anywhere who's had the courage to come out and say, "This is me, this is what I'm about, world, listen to it." And then I guess the further significance is the way he was then treated, the way he was criticised by teammates, fellow professionals, the way in which members of his own family treated him as an outcast.
But I wouldn't like to play or even get changed in the vicinity. That's just the way I feel. So if I'm like that, I'm sure the rest of the footballers are like that.
It's a tragic story overall, I think, and I can understand why young gay players perhaps look at that and say, well, I'm not going to go through that.
Ryan, Fashanu. Oh, what a goal! Oh, that's a magnificent goal!
It's a situation where years ago people didn't want to talk about alcoholism or they didn't want to talk about drugs. It was something where we don't tell the neighbours because of all this business. It's something that needs to be spoken about. I'm honest. If people don't like it, then that's fine. But it's a fact. We have to deal with it.
Here's Fashanu again, and that is 3.
Football, the beautiful game, the most popular and diverse game, has still only seen Justin Fashanu come out. But are we now starting to see a change in other sports? Are we finally entering an era where sports stars can join celebrities, politicians and people from every walk of life in being open about their sexuality?
I just felt that, times have moved on since I was 19, times have moved on since I was 30. And it was always kind of like, well, let's test out our society, let's test out the sport where everybody says they're accepting, but let's really test it out. And I wanted to be, as I've said, a kind of a gay role model, sporting role model, and role model in life that I kind of never had. It was kind of, as I like to say, the worst kept secret, definitely in Wales, probably in the rugby community as well. Basically, it was kind of at the peak of my downtime, you know, a depression time for me. And I played for Wales and felt that while I didn't do myself justice, but more importantly I didn't do the team justice, because I had a lot on my mind and I played that way and I didn't feel like I contributed to the team. So Scott Johnson, actually, who was the coach of Australia at the time, came in the change rooms. I looked at him, he just looked at me, I was crying. He could see in my eyes that, you know, there was something wrong. And basically he said, well, I told him, like, you know, me and Gemma had split, and he said, well, it's one of two reasons. And I just looked at him, he said, and I think I know which one it is. And that was the start, opening myself up to somebody within a world that I'd got away from being gay. It was the only place I felt I could get away from being gay. So now I was opening up this world to accepting me for being gay.
Just to explain what the media train was then, once he signed. Were you besieged?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. Well, I had far more phone calls than probably I normally do.
From media that you probably didn't even know?
Yeah, well, they generally leave me alone, the media, because they don't get much out of me, I'll be quite honest with you, because I say nothing on rumours and speculation, and all of a sudden they thought, well, we'll take a chance here, because this is a big story, but, you know, obviously I knew there'd be more attention.
Alfie!
Have you heard stuff? Has he got stick?
Oh, I've heard the odd comment, you know, when we've been on our travels everywhere.
Away from home?
Yeah, away from home, but he's had nothing but fabulous support, and he'll get nothing but fabulous support from the people in rugby league.
And other players get stick from the crowd as well, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah. We've got a couple of fat blokes in our team, just to see how they cop it.
Gareth is one of an increasing number of sportsmen and women to say, I am gay. In most cases, this has come in the twilight of their careers, or even after they've retired. Football still waits.
When is the good time to kind of announce it to the world? When you're a sportsman, it's just, there's no good time. You sign a contract for 17 million and then you say it immediately and expect there to be no ramifications, no problems.
Nice move by John Amici.
In 2007, 4 years after retiring, John Amici became the first openly gay NBA player when he came out in his memoir, Man in the Middle.
It would just been a reason to lose my job. When I played in the States, there were 31 states where you could be fired for being gay. Now it's a far more civilized place, and there are only 12 states where you can be fired for being gay. But at the time, it would just be a reason that you could just be let go.
This is society. Male, female, young, old, black, white. You can't hide your colour, you can't hide your gender, but one of my best mates hid his sexuality. After years of going to the football together, he came out to me in a tearful phone call that I will remember for the rest of my life. I wonder whether the macho football world we inhabited caused him to hide who he really was and caused him years of turmoil. Sunday League football, the chance for some of us to live our dreams out on the pitch. The national average dictates that 2 players will be gay, but in this game, I know all but a few are out.
I wouldn't be able to. I mean, if I just walked along and watched this game, apart from the bloke with Queenie on the back of his shirt on the opposition, it might be a bit of a click. But apart from that, it's not screaming out gay football.
No, it's not. I think people, when they think about gay football, they think it's sort of substandard football, and they come along and they're taken by surprise about that as well. The reality is, it is just like every other club, but the difference being is that here people don't have to hide their sexuality. Right. You know, and the problem is people have played for straight teams in the past, and it's been an issue. They either couldn't be honest about their sexuality, or if they did, it made things very difficult for them.